welcome back to the Hawk TV homecoming show alongside WMCX. I'm here with WMCX and Hawk TV alum Eddie Acapinti, who will be calling the game for Monmouth Digital Network and Flow Sports. Eddie, how are you doing today?
Dan, I'm doing well. Thanks for giving me a few minutes because I know it's a busy week for you, with everything going on and not just covering the game for you, but enjoying, all the homecoming festivities. It's one of the things that I miss most about being in college.
I'm going to start right there. What would if you had to ask or someone had to ask you would be your favorite homecoming memory?
That's tough. It's tough because I was fortunate, much like you, to kind of enjoy all sides of it. Enjoy covering the game, working the game, but also enjoy all of the festivities during the week and everything after the game. When I think back on my time, as an undergrad, Monmouth was, much like now, a very successful football program. But I think back to some like not even great weather days, but like, there's a homecoming that stands out against this is back in the Northeast Conference days against like Central Connecticut State. Monmouth won 9-6, ugly game, all field goals, very different from this high-flying offense that the Hawks have now. But it was one of those things. You enjoyed being there. I remember doing the game for WMCX, and then after the game, being able to enjoy it with all my friends, in the parking lot, and then kind of all the festivities around homecoming. So that one stands out. It was a championship season for Monmouth. But there's, countless memories, even the small memories of just running into classmates and I was an alum or seeing, students much like yourself have the experience that I was able to have. So there's a whole bunch of fun parts, whether it's, the game and working it and covering it or kind of everything else around it. The Hawk TV WMCX, setup that we had that thankfully still continues is always one of the highlights when I look back at my time in college.
You talk about time in college, and it is a very special time here at WMCX. It's the 50th anniversary for WMCX. Can you talk about what WMCX means to you?
Oh, I mean, yeah, how long do we have? I could do that for hours. I was fortunate enough to attend the event they had, just this past spring for, Professor Rich and everything that went into that. He was one of my professors. It was the thing that I enjoyed the most in college. It was the thing where I probably met the most friends. It was where, I developed my love for broadcasting, and thankfully, I'm still able to do it, to this day. I can't thank the professors, the colleagues of mine that were in school with us, everyone around it. It helped me become, it helped me discover my passion, we went to school because college is what you did, but I remember saying to multiple people, if I could just, have just stayed at WMCX and just broadcasted games for them forever, I would have done that. It meant the world to me. It showed me what my passion truly was. And there's a great lineage there. We're able to have this conversation. We're colleagues because we work together now, but I can't tell you how many alums that came before me and have come after me take a lot of pride in our history that we have. I'd stack our talent up against any student communication broadcast entity in the country, and that includes a lot of the big schools too. I'm very prideful in WMCX. I have a lot of pride, my name still being on the wall in a few places there. You look back on it with very much, fond memories, very nostalgic memories, but it meant the world to me in my college experience at Monmouth.
I couldn't agree with you more. As someone that's a senior and will be departing soon, it's an unbelievable club. It's an unbelievable experience to be had, and
Yeah.
it's something I would recommend to anyone at this university to take part in. And then you talk about the football being I will shift into the game a little bit more. You talk
Sure.
about how high flying this offense really is. What do you think makes this offense go?
Wow. That is, and it's been like this for a while now. You've got to start at the top. You've got to start with a head coach in Kevin Callahan, who the thing that I think is the most special about Coach in now his 32 years at Monmouth has been his ability to reinvent the program kind of along with football trends. When I was in school, it was, very much a kind of ground and pound, clock eating offense where your quarterback would have to make smart decisions, but necessarily wouldn't have to go out and put up these Derek Robertson or Kenji Bahar or Tony Muskett-esque numbers. I think the most special thing is coach's ability to spot what's going on with, the trends in college football and then, mirror up what's going on. So it starts there, right? And then after that, I don't think people talk nearly enough about the job that offensive coordinator Jeff Gallo has done. It's remarkable. He's got a very senior staff with him. Brian Gabriel's been at Monmouth forever, and Kevin Callahan Jr. has been there for a long time, and Sam Dorsett's the best running backs coach in the country. The offensive side is incredibly deep and talented, but coach allowing his staff to kind of follow these trends in football and stay ahead of the trends. And then I think Jeff Gallo's done just a phenomenal job. So it starts there, and then you've got to recruit and develop great players, and they've been able to do all that, right? So they went out and said, here's how we want to play offense. They find players that fit what they do, whether they're recruited out of high school or they're transfer players. And they just find players who continue to put up these video game numbers that is just unbelievable to see. I mean, I didn't think we'd see a better running back than Jaden Sheridan and a better receiver than Dymere Miller. And you look this year, and it's I'm not going to use the word committee, but it's a host of players who are contributing. You've got a couple of running backs. You've got Sone and Rodney and Mackay doing their thing. And I mean, the deepest receiver room, one of them in all of FCS. So it's not one thing. And then, the thing that broadcasters mentioned last, but football people mentioned first is an offensive line that I think is playing better than people thought they would with some different faces, and they graduated a lot of players there. And I think that group gelling quickly has allowed this offense to flow. And then, Derek Robertson is, going to be in the running for, the Walter Payton Award for, the top player in FCS football because of how good he's been all season.
You talk about Derek Robertson. He's been outstanding. Is he so far in these 6 games the best you've seen out of quarterback play at Monmouth?
That's a great question. I think he's playing the best. I think right now, I mean, it's hard to argue, and getting ready for the game, Derek already has 5 of the top 12 single game passing records at Monmouth all time. I mean, that's pretty remarkable in just 6 games. I think time will tell the rest of the season, how he compares to some of those other Monmouth quarterbacks, but through 6 games, he's putting up the best statistics we've seen. I think he's playing at or above where any Monmouth quarterback has ever played from an accuracy standpoint, and, leading to some eye-popping numbers. And he led the team to their first FBS win. So, I mean, yeah, it's not a stretch at all to say that through a handful of games, he's been the best quarterback we've seen in a Monmouth uniform. Now you want to see him do it through the rest of the season, because there's championship quarterbacks that have come through. There's great statistics, but right now he's on pace to throw for 4,000 yards. That's never been done, at Monmouth. So he's been special to watch. It's been really cool to watch him work with his brother, and to see that dynamic. But yeah, it's hard to argue that there's been a better Monmouth quarterback through 6 games than Derek Robertson.
I agree. One last question. You're calling the game for MDN, working with Emery Hunt. What is the biggest difference you've seen the university go through in your 20 years so of calling sports here?
I only get to pick one.
You go with multiple. It doesn't matter.
I think I'll take one, but there's a lot of different answers to that. And I think it's just the exposure. I think it's just, going from where it was when I was in school, and you talked about, sometimes the league would cover they would go around around the league, and they'd cover the schools, and it would be on, at the time, like ESPN3 or something like that. But to watch the commitment to the exposure that the university has had, it's allowed, guys like me, Matt Harmon, so many of us, right, both MCX alums, so many of us to come through and do this, and a handful of others. It's the commitment to that exposure that has been special to see, where now, Monmouth is producing their own linear television, broadcasts. You're obviously a part of the crew, and you know it well. So it's been the fact that we haven't had to rely on anybody else to kind of give us the exposure, that the school has been supportive in us kind of covering these student athletes and coaches ourselves. And then everything from that, you get the exposure. People are hitting everyone up saying, "Oh, I mean, I saw the Monmouth game." It's easier to get those highlights onto Sports Center and the nightly news and things like that, and social media, which obviously helps, tremendously. So I think it's that is the biggest thing. And then, the smaller things from that are just the relationships that we're able to build, this kind of history that we're able to pass down from, older alums like myself all the way down through you and your colleagues and the experience that you're having. So, that commitment is special because not every university does it. And I think that's what makes this very unique. And then the ultimate winner, right, is I think the student athletes and the coaches, because we get to put on their exploits. So yes, selfishly, I get to broadcast. It's the thing I love most in the world, professionally. But at the end of the day, hopefully it helps Monmouth, the brand of the university, get out there. It helps the coaches and the student athletes, and everything that they need to do. So, it's very cool and very special that we get to do that, and we get to do it with a fully organic crew, right? It's all Monmouth students and grad students and employees and everyone. So it really is an all hands on deck kind of family atmosphere to do it.
I've been part of it for 3 years. I love it, and I'll say this: one of my favorite memories at Monmouth, and something I'll never forget, is that shot that Xander Rice hit. That was really heard around the world. You were on the call for that, and it's something I'll always take away from me from being here.
That's cool. No, I appreciate that. That can't happen, right? I was the lucky one to be on the microphone, right? But that can't happen without, I mean, you tell me how many people behind the scenes, right? 25, 30 people, running the boards and running the replays, and the camera operators need to capture it. And Andrew and Ann are doing a great job, leading all of that. And, that moment, I mean, the part that I still get chills thinking about it, right? There's so many different camera angles, right? All that was put together by Monmouth students, and something that was done by a Monmouth student, right? And all the great stories that came out of that. So that's what makes the memories cool, Dan. It's that there's so many people involved in the memories, right? They're not just one person's memories, but it's kind of a collective thing that when you look back, when you're an alum and coming back in 10 years, and you could talk to your friends like, hey, remember that, that's a pretty cool thing to be able to do. I do it with my friends now, and that's kind of one of the beauties of homecoming.
I agree. I couldn't agree with you more. Thank you again for doing this interview, Eddie, and I'll see you in the press box on Saturday. Good luck on the call.
Thank you. Yeah, Dan, I'll see you there. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. That was Eddie Acapinti. We'll be right back here on the WMCX and Hawk TV Homecoming pregame show. Hello, everyone, and to all the lovely listeners of the Homecoming Spectacular. My name is Dean Heidel, and we are taking the streets of Monmouth University to see what fellow Hawks think about homecoming. Come, let's see what we have. Very excited for this is my first time doing it. Nolan, if you'll actually turn around, join with us, former star of, what do we call this? The Man on the Street segment. So let's see what we got. Very, very, very excited for this. We have someone, I know Brenna wants to get interviewed right away. How are we doing, Brenna? So Brenna, we have a pressing question for you. What is your favorite Monmouth University memory?
Ooh, freshman year move-in.
Why so?
Because it was just all over the place.
Real, very, very real. Appreciate you. Excuse me, guys. We have a very pressing question for you guys. Do you guys think that you can take Shadow the Hawk in a fight?
No. Definitely not. No.
Definitely not. Do you think I could take him in a fight?
It wouldn't end immediately.
I think I can go like 5-6 rounds with him.
Yeah, definitely.
Really?
I think so. What do you think? Huh? I mean, but I'm him, so like. All right, we got a little trivia question for you, Ava. You ready?
I'm not ready, but okay.
I think you're ready.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Ready?
Ready.
What year was Monmouth University founded?
Oh God, I want to say like a long time ago, maybe like the 1900s somewhere. I don't know.
Give us a.
Not 1920. I don't know.
Close.
I'm close. Am I going to back or like up? Okay, like 1940s, 1930s,
Close. 1930s.
1934.
Super close, like red hot.
5. 1933. Okay.
We've got it. Who am I joined with here today?
Paige. Jasmine.
All right, I'm gonna ask you guys, what is your favorite Monmouth memory so far?
I would have to say the basketball games.
Meeting her.
That is so sweet. Oh my, that just melted my favorite basketball game you've been to.
I feel like, where did we go to? Oh, Drexel. I think it was Drexel.
Did we win that one?
We did. It was.
We did. Do you remember the score?
Can't say I do.
It was really close.
It was really
That's all I
close.
remember.
Yeah. Somebody fell on the floor. It was crazy.
These are true fans right here. So you guys might remember my boy here. We don't even need much of an introduction, do we?
No, you don't.
Got my boy Miles on the set. Miles, how confident are we in a Monmouth W this weekend?
Very confident. I think our team is just that good. Our running game is pretty good. Our defense makes big plays like Deuce with the fumble recovery against FIU. So I think we win.
We take dubs only here. Only dubs. I'm joined with the one and only Kelly Nollis, Homecoming Committee Chair. Kelly, what is the best piece of advice that an alumni has given you at Monmouth?
Well, Jahad Johnson, shout out to him. He's the reason I'm currently here at Monmouth University. He said, keep believing, keep asking questions, and keep it to yourself.
What's your favorite part about setting up Homecoming so far?
So far, the brainstorming over the summer, because we've been working tirelessly on this, Jackie Tamburino and I, and seeing it all come together. I mean, the food truck's a success, and I can't wait for the block party.
Now, most importantly, I think this is the biggest question I have to ask you.
Okay.
How confident are you that we get a dub this Saturday?
It's not even a question. Fly, Hawks, fly.
Joined here with my boy Matt. Matt, how are we doing today?
Fantastic.
Matt, I know you're a big sports guy, so I gotta ask you. I'm gonna quiz you on some Monmouth trivia here. Who is the only Monmouth Hawk to win an NFL championship?
All right. Chris Hogan.
Ding, ding, ding! Matt on the money! That's what I'm talking about. Who am I joined with here today?
Hi, I'm Caitlin.
Kaylin, what movie was filmed in the Great Hall?
I'm going to guess Annie.
Annie is correct. Now, for double points here, what's the name of the character that owned the mansion?
Oh, is it like Daddy Warbucks?
2 for 2. Love to see it. Join here, the one and only Connor. Connor, what is your all-time favorite Monmouth University memory?
My favorite memory here probably got to be my first time ever taking pictures for a sporting event, my first ever football game. It was super lit. So, yeah, that's my favorite memory.
Do you have a link to where we can, see those pictures, show them off to the world?
Yeah, cg.flix on Instagram. You could find all my pictures on there.
Give my boy a follow. Check it out. Appreciate you, dog. All right, so how are we doing, everyone? I have a question for you guys. I'm just going to sit right down here. So,
No one should ever trust Dean to do On the Street again. I don't know who let him out.
All I'm saying is that it started out as Nolan on the street. That's all I'm saying.
Tara, who would you rather fight right now, Dean or Shadow the Hawk?
Absolutely Dean, any day of the week, anytime.
You heard it here first, folks. Happy homecoming.
So minor inconvenience, nothing surely happened at all. How confident are you guys that you could take Shadow the Hawk in a fight?
Very confident. I have a great left hook.
Not confident at all.
Like scale of 1 to 10.
1,000.
1,000. How many rounds do you think you'd knock him out?
1.
1 round. That's impressive.
Do you want me to test it out on you?
We gotta get my boy Matt here on camera. Matt, how are we doing, Matt?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing just fantastic now that I saw you guys in my day. But now, Matt, I have a very important question for you. A little bit of Monmouth trivia. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
What year was Monmouth University founded?
1933.
On the money. I mean, you didn't even get to ask your question. I'm going to give you a little piece of trivia now, too. So, the Great Hall. Everyone knows the Great Hall. What movie was filmed in the Great Hall?
Annie.
For double points, who was the mansion owner in the movie?
Daddy Warbucks?
Close. Do you want to save her?
No, I thought it was the guy too.
Daddy Warlocks. So close. I am not gaslighting you.
It's Daddy Warblocks.
I thought it was Warlocks. We might have to fact check because I might be wrong.
You're wrong. He's wrong.
We'll see. So I would actually like to apologize to the nation. It is actually Warbucks, and I was wrong. So technically, whoever I asked that question before was wrong. So Something to keep in mind. All right, so obviously, like, new fit check. We got the SGA approved Hoco fit. Mind the coffee stain, but it's okay.
Fly Hawks. Yes, Lord. Love.
Y'all getting a dub? Yo, how confident? Facts. How confident are we getting a dub this week?
100%. 110% guaranteed.
1,000%.
That's what I'm talking about. These guys get it. Nolan, you think I could touch that? Top of that white?
Absolutely not.
I think you underestimate my power.
Let's see it.
Hey, watch this. No.
Told you.
One day. Jeff, how the tables have turned. I'm interviewing you now.
Yes, I know. The young ones grow up so fast.
So Jeff, I know you're in a lot of clubs here at Monmouth. Which one's your favorite?
I love them all equally, and I spend as much time loving all of them equally, and I cannot choose any of them as my favorite.
Do you want to give a special shout out to any clubs in particular?
Shout out to Hawk TV. That's my people, my group. Yes, Lord. You already know.
So who am I joined with here today?
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Zanetta Rego Crafts, and I'm the director of the Intercultural Center and also the advisor of the president for diversity and inclusion here at Monmouth.
So what are your plans for this fine homecoming weekend?
We'll be partnering with the Office of Alumni Engagement to host Affinity Breakfast here at the Intercultural Center, which is a way for our historically underrepresented alumni to come back and gather in community. And we really look forward to having everybody back.
I appreciate you. So who am I joined with here today?
I'm Jackie Tamburino.
Jackie, who is your favorite Monmouth alumni, and what's the best piece of advice that they've given you?
I would have to say my sister, because she's the best. And the best piece of advice she gave me is to make the best of everything you do. Always walk in with enthusiasm and keep your head up.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So you're joined with Mr. President himself.
Something like that. I can help.
So, Mr. President, what is the biggest piece of advice that a Monmouth alumni has given you?
Oh, God. It's that even when you doubt yourself, sometimes you just got to put the blinders on and go through with it, and you'll be impressed with how much you're able to do, and you'll see all the people around you who support you. Because when you're passionate about it, people will start following you and helping you out and believing you, and that's all it takes.
Now, Mr. President, most important question, how confident are you that we're getting a dub this Saturday?
Oh, very confident. Are you kidding me? No question about it.
Love to hear it. So, question, who do you think has better pizza, New York or New Jersey?
New Jersey, by far.
Jersey?
New Jersey.
Oh, that hurts. I mean, I'm a New Yorker, born and raised.
It's even, 50-50.
You want some pizza? We got a whole pie. You want some? Yeah, no, like literally take the whole thing. It's just, it's vodka.
Yeah, this is amazing. Thanks, food truck. Appreciate it.
So, Tara, I present to you a peace offering. I apologize. So, here are 3 slices of delicious pizza.
Half of this?
It was a little cold, you know. I didn't. I wanted to make sure it didn't get cold, you know.
Okay. Thank you. What kind?
It's vodka.
Sounds good.
Appreciate you. Turning to home base. I think we had a fine homecoming shoot today. A lot of festivity going on here. Back at the crib. But thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate you guys more than you will ever know. And to everyone listening who is an alumni or just a student at the school or supporting Monmouth, have a very happy homecoming. This is Dean Heidel, signing out. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final part of our Homecoming 2024 Spectacular. I'm happy to be here with these fine gentlemen, joined with Mike, Frank, and Dan. We're going to be talking about the pregame show for the football game. We have Monmouth versus Bryant. Bit of a rich history between two of these teams. Let's go straight ahead to the history right there. So the first matchup between both teams, 2008, Monmouth takes it over Bryant, 30 to 17. And if you guys will notice, it has been pretty much a dominant run for Monmouth, winning 5 of 6 games, only dropping 1 matchup, that coming in 2012 in a close game, 27 to 24. So that has been pretty much a dominant Monmouth run. So A lot to talk about so far. Let's get straight into impact players of the game. A lot of guys that you can really look at. Who's that one guy on offense that we can really think about for Monmouth that can lead them to victory?
Well, it's going to be Derek Robertson. Derek Robertson has come here and really changed the identity of an offense that was really good last year, but he's taken it to a completely different level. He leads the FCS in passing yards and has had quick strike after quick strike. He can go on long methodical drives, and he's been such a weapon for the Hawks this year.
Yeah, Derek Robertson, one of 4 FCS quarterbacks with 2,000 passing yards on the season, 18 touchdowns, which is tied for second in the FCS with only 5 interceptions. Monmouth's offense, 42.7 points per game, leads the FCS in offense.
Yeah, Robertson's also been leading the conference in all major categories, including passing yards, touchdowns, and completions per game. I mean, just watching them with their quarterback in Robertson this year, you could see the difference is definitely there. And, you know, he's brothers with the quarterback coach, too, so that helps. But, yeah, the Hawks are lucky to have him.
Yeah, what really impresses me about Robinson is just that, like, he doesn't look like a typical college quarterback. Like, you can see him dropping back in the pocket, progressing through his reads. Like, he'll hold on to the ball. He's not one of those guys where he's going to look at the first read, throw it, and if it's not there, scramble. So he's one of those guys, like, I feel like he's super mature. You can see him really connect well with this offense, and I mean, it's really been showing off for him.
Something I want to point out is Derek Robertson might go down as already the best quarterback in Monmouth history. When I talked to Eddie Acapinti earlier today, he was telling me about how 5 of the 12 greatest passing games in Monmouth history have been Derek Robertson games. He's got 2,037 passing yards. He's probably going to be the first ever quarterback to throw for 4,000 yards. And Monmouth has had a storied history of being a D1 football program. So when you could say you're the only guy in team history to throw for 4,000 yards, that's not only a testament to how good Robertson's been, but how good offensive coordinator Jeff Gallo and his offensive staff have been as well.
Yeah, and he's brought this offense to new heights. I think he's already almost top 10 all time in Monmouth passing for a season. So, and in half a season, that's very impressive. So it's only a matter of time before he gets into the top 10 and maybe even higher.
And a key to this offense for sure is that, you know, they have already 5 receivers that have multiple touchdowns this year. You know, a lot of college teams are going to have, you know, 1 receiver, maybe 2 that they always go to for their touchdowns. So the way that the Hawks are, you know, moving the ball around the field, it's great. And that's why they're scoring so many points, because they have so many options.
Yeah, just
weapons galore.
Yeah, exactly. The way he's able to just spread the ball around, get it to different people. There's not that one guy that really stands out particularly, but when there's so many guys that all get open, create space in the middle of the field, that makes it so much easier for Robinson to really do what he does. But we all know that a team is only as good as its defense. Defense wins championships, the old saying. Who's a guy that we're really looking at for Monmouth on defense?
I'm going to say it. The Deuce has been loose all season. Deuce Lee has been a really good asset to have in the back end. He's not your typical safety because he's not a great cover safety. He's more of a linebacker that they've been trying to have gain more weight, but he's really impressed me by how his ability to tackle, his knack to come up for big plays in the big moments. When I did the Lafayette game for WMCX, he had that big turnaway on the 2-point conversion. Monmouth went on to lose that game, but ultimately it was a big play in a big moment. He's had that knack so far this season.
Yeah, Deuce Lee, 34 tackles, which is second on the team. He's made some big plays. And as you said, he's kind of like this versatile defensive player that can kind of do it all. And he's going to be a big part of this game.
Yeah, I mean, his play against FIU with the strip fumble at the 1-yard line, talk about a big moment. That was as clutch as you could get. I would also say Ryan Moran. I would watch out for him. 11 tackles in the last 5 games. He's a pretty reliable tackler, so both those players, I think, are definitely key people on the defense, for sure.
And it's funny with those two because if you talk about him, Moran's the senior linebacker. He's been here forever. He's the guy that's been a stalwart of this defense, where Lee is kind of a younger player who's coming into his own.
This is his first year really starting and making a big name. Yeah, now he's a sophomore. This is his first year really making a name for himself. And I mentioned 2 forced fumbles so far on the year already. Just the way he's able to make plays. You mentioned he's not much of a coverage guy, but he's definitely shown up when they needed him to. He is, without a doubt, the playmaker in that secondary. And another thing I wanted to kind of talk about is one of the struggles for Monmouth has kind of been on the run, for the run defense. And that's not something particular that I don't think that Monmouth is going to really have to worry about so far. Bryant is one of those teams that's kind of struggled to get on the ground. Only 3 rushing touchdowns on the season so far. So how do you think that's really going to help out that secondary in Lee?
Well, it's weird because if you look at the stats, Bryant's leading rusher is averaging 6.2 yards a carry. So it's interesting that why they haven't been able to run the football with more success and for more, how would I put it, like more with efficiency.
Yeah, well, they only average 91.7 rush yards per game, so that is interesting. You know, they average over 6 yards per rush, but only 91.7 yards per game. So it seems like they're less of a running team, so that is great for Monmouth. And, I mean, if Bryant's smart, they might want to try running the ball, but, yeah, we'll see what they do.
Well, yeah, I mean, Monmouth's defense couldn't stop the run in their last game against Delaware, where Delaware ran the ball for over 300 yards.
Yeah, Delaware absolutely toyed with Monmouth essentially the entire game with the run, and they really only got 1 stop, that coming in the 4th quarter, and then ultimately Monmouth came up short on the final drive. But I think definitely what Monmouth can do now, they aren't really running the ball too well, really able to drop those safeties back, deal with the receivers, because as you guys see up there, without a doubt, one of the biggest playmakers for Bryant up there.
Yeah, Landon Ruggieri's had such a good season. He's doing for Bryant what Dymere Miller did for Monmouth last year, where he's got 35 receptions, leads that team by 10 in terms of team leaders. He's got 524 receiving yards. The next best is 200. That's a 324-yard difference. He's got averaging 15 yards a target, has got a 55-yard long, and 9 touchdowns. So a lot of their offensive production has come from number 5, Landon Ruggieri.
Yeah, and his 9 touchdowns are tied for the most in the FCS. So he can get in the end zone a lot. And Monmouth, a few games this year in particular, they let their opponent's top receiver kind of break out for big games, Lafayette in particular. So we'll see if that trend can continue or if Monmouth's defense can step up.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about this, too, though, is that, you know, he's obviously an amazing player, but what Monmouth's defense could do is really focus on him and make the other Bryant offensive players, force them to make plays, force the quarterback to look at other options. So I expect Monmouth's defense to, you know, really focus on him. But yeah, that could be the good thing about it.
Yeah, and one thing that's when you have a receiver as dominant as him, and when a team is kind of struggling on the run game like they are, I mean, you have to think a great game plan for Monmouth. You can run a lot of man coverage, kind of use one of their safeties, a guy like Dusley, kind of blanket Ruggieri on pretty much any route that he run. You don't really have to stack the box. You don't really have to send those blitz packages. You can really rely on your trenches to get the job done. Even though they have struggled so much on the ground this year, you can kind of bank on guys considering that Bryant really hasn't gotten it done on the ground this year.
And even through the air, I mean, Jarrett Guest, their starting quarterback, is only completing 63.2% of his passes, 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, has been sacked 7 times. So he's good, not great. And I think if you're one thing to expect for this game for Monmouth's side, you're going to see a lot of double teams on Landon Ruggieri.
Without a doubt. Yeah, the double team definitely going to be the effective way for Monmouth to really tackle such a dominant receiver that we haven't really seen. I think Dymere Miller is a fantastic comparison because we've been able to see how dominant he was at Monmouth last year. I remember that one game he broke the single game reception or reception and yards record in a single game for Monmouth. And he's such a fantastic, fantastic receiver. With that being said, who's another guy on the defense for Bryant that we really think could take control of this game that Monmouth's going to have to mark down?
Colin Elliott, I mean, he's the do-it-all guy for them. He's 3rd on the team in tackles. He's got 2 pass breakups. He's got 2 sacks. He's got an interception. He's a lot of your do-it-all guy. He's a safety that kind of plays like a linebacker. So it's really impressive to see when you have a guy that can do it all. You don't want to throw at him. You don't want him to come through on a blitz package. And you certainly want to stay away from him because he's a tackling machine.
Yeah, and like you said, he is a true do-it-all guy. His 2 sacks are actually tied for most on the team. For a defensive back, that's a pretty impressive feat. 18 tackles, which is 3rd on the team. He is, as you said, a do-it-all guy that can kind of be a threat anywhere.
He's tied in first for interceptions as well. He's someone that I'm sure that Jeff Gallo is going to be game planning on how do we throw him off of his game.
Yeah, and complete opposite of Dusley, he is a grad student. So has a lot of experience, been in this system for a long time, definitely getting comfortable there. We kind of mentioned a bit about a talk in terms of keys to the game, really talked about the run game, how Monmouth can utilize doubling, top wide receivers. But with that being said, we can wrap things up. What are our final score predictions so far? What do we think Monmouth is going to end up with this game?
Well, the last homecoming game, Monmouth was able to blow out Lehigh. I think it's going to be another blowout. I think just Bryant's got a good offense, and the defense is kind of a little bit lackluster. I think Monmouth's offense is too much for even a team like Delaware to stop. And Delaware's basically an FBS team. Let's not put any sugarcoating on it. So I think Monmouth's going to end up winning this one 55-17.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a kind of a blowout. I think that Bryant's offense isn't up to caliber compared to Monmouth's offense. I think it's going to end up being a 49-20 Monmouth victory in the end.
Yeah, I think Monmouth comes in 3-3 and Bryant 2-4, 0-2 in the CAA. I think Monmouth's offense is too potent for this Bryant defense, and I'm just going to go 55-20 Monmouth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much in the same ballpark as everyone. I have a 56-28 Monmouth win. I mean, this is an offense that's averaging over 40 points a game. It's going to be tough to stop all of this talent that they have on offense, and not to mention so many defensive playmakers. But this is a game Monmouth could really get back on the map, really put a name out for themselves and get to 4-3 on the season.
Especially if they have Josh Derry back. I mean, he didn't play against Delaware. He didn't really play against Fordham, so it'll be big for him if he's back for Monmouth.
Yeah, that's another big question mark that they're now getting a big offensive player back as well. And with that being said, we are going to wrap things up here. Thank you again, Mike, Frank, and Dan, once again for coming on. And that being said, have a very happy homecoming to any alumni, seniors who may be watching. And stay tuned for more Hawk TV.